Hello, I hope you find yourself well. I'm going to be reading from 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 11 through 18. I'm just going to summarize it. So, chapter 6, verses 11 through 18. King Aram wants to kill Prophet Elijah. So he sends his men to go capture Elijah, but his men were not able to do so. In verse 14, King Aram sent his strong force by night. Verse 15 is when Elisha's servant saw what was happening. He was very afraid. This is when the enemies came to attack. And Elisha's servant was very afraid. In verse 16, this is what Elisha tells his servant. Don't be afraid. The prophet answered, those who are with us are more than those who are with them. Now, Elijah was not talking about physical people. He was talking about heavenly power. Now, verse 17. And Elijah prayed, open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see. Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked, and he saw the hills full of horses and chariots and of fire all around Elisha. So this is heavenly. This is in the spirit realm. So when Elisha was talking about let him see, he was talking about in the spirit. And then in verse 18, Elijah prayed for God to blind his enemies. And God did. He did that. So I want to focus right now in verses 11 through 18. So this is where King Aram sends his people to go kill Elijah. They get to where Elijah is at. Elijah's servant, he gets very scared. He's afraid. And Elijah tells his servant not to be afraid because there's more people with them than were their enemies. So then that's when he tells God to open his servant's eyes so he can see. And he sees God's army. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because a lot of people don't understand or don't know that when we fight against the enemies, we're fighting in the spirit. We're not fighting in the physical. Everything is spiritual. Everything is. When people are mean, they're being mean because the devil's influence them to come against you. So they can get you mad. You can open a door in the spirit where you're going to leave a right to the devil so that he can pretty much mess you up. Now I'm going to be reading verses 19 to 23. So verse 19. Elijah came face to face with Aram's men, and he leads them towards the king of Israel. So remember that the king Aram sent his people to kill Elijah, right? And Elijah came face to face with them, and he told them, you know what? Let me take you guys this way. And he took them to where King of Israel was at. And in verse 20, instead of the enemies getting killed, the prophet Elijah, prays to God to let them see in the spirit as well. Elijah tells God to let those men that are there to kill him to see in the spirit as well, so they can see God's army, so they can see that Elijah is not alone. Heaven is backing him up. God is with him. That was verse 20. Now verse 21. The king of Israel wanted to kill them, the enemies. So he asked Elisha, should we kill them? And in verse 22, Elijah tells the king of Israel to not kill them, but to feed them and then let them go free. You're probably wondering, why would he do that? Because Elijah knew that they were going to die if he kept them. They were going to die because of God's army. He was with them. He knew they couldn't defeat him. They were like, just have mercy. Elijah had mercy on their enemies. The army that were sent to kill him, he had mercy. He told the king of Israel, do not kill them, feed them, give them water, give them some rest, and let them go free. Let them go back to their master. Now in verse 23, they fed them by giving them a great feast. Then he sent them back, and Aram stopped fighting against Israel. So when he sent them back, they just stopped messing with them. They never went back to try to kill Elijah or any of his team, his army. So again, that was 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 11 through 18, and then I did 19 to 23. I encourage you to read the whole entire chapter, but I was just focusing on verses 11, 18, where it's talked about that God is with us and everything is spiritual. Nothing is physical. We shouldn't be fighting physically. Everything is spiritual. We should be praying, reading God's word. That is our weapon, God's word, and also worship. And then in verses 19 to 23 is where Elisha has mercy upon his enemies. He could have wiped them out easily, especially because God was with him. His army was with him. God's army. So that was it for the teaching. I hope that you go back and read. I hope that you read the whole chapter of 2 Kings, chapter 6. God bless. Take care. And Jesus Christ is King.